गुड मॉर्निंग गाइस। सो सेकेंड सेम का फर्स्ट लेक्चर है हम लोगों का। आई होप आई एम ऑडिबल। हेलो।
Yes, sir. लाडो खा लो।
हाँ डिम्पल लाडो खाई ले, म्यूट पर रख। ओके। सो बेसिकली we are supposed to start with our next lecture series that is operating system, या स्पेसिफिकली अगर आपका सब्जेक्ट का नाम हम लोग बोले सो इट इज़ नोशन ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम। सो दिस इज़ आर नोट्स। वन बाय वन मैं आपके साथ शेयर करते जाऊंगा जैसे जैसे हम लोग के टॉपिक होंगे। ये आपका सिलेबस है। सो यूनिट वन अगर आप देखेंगे सो आपको यहाँ पे क्या बोला है, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, कंसेप्ट, सिस्टम कॉल्स क्या रहेंगे, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम एडवांस कंसेप्ट, प्रोसेस थ्रेड्स क्या होता है, इंटर प्रोसेस कम्युनिकेशन कैसे चलता है, डेडलॉक एंड अदर थिंग्स। एंड उसके बाद में मेमोरी मैनेजमेंट कैसे होता है, ये कुछ एल्गोरिदम्स आपको यहाँ पे मिलेंगे। एज यू कैन सी देखो यहाँ पे आपको पेज रिप्लेसमेंट एल्गोरिदम, डिज़ाइंस ऑफ इश्यूज, पेजिंग, ये सब। और उसके बाद में फाइल सिस्टम्स क्या होता है वो है। और लास्ट में अगर आप देखेंगे जो हम लोग रेडिट ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम जो है उसके बारे में आपको यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है वो देखेंगे हम लोग। और लास्ट में दैट इज़ यूनिट फोर में यहाँ से हम लोग रेड हैट ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम स्टार्ट करेंगे। दैट मीन्स वी आर एक्चुअली गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद द प्रैक्टिकल्स। बट हम लोग यहाँ पे जाए उसके पहले से ही आई वॉन्ट यू टू स्टार्ट विथ प्रैक्टिकल्स। सो वन बाय वन हम लोग जो भी कुछ डिस्कस कर रहे हैं फर्स्ट 3 यूनिट्स में वो आपको ईजिली समझ में आए। एंड उसके बाद में लास्ट वाला हम लोगों का जो कमांड है वो यही है, मतलब यही प्रैक्टिकल्स जो है वो यहाँ पे यूनिट 5 में वापस एक्सटेंड होंगे। ठीक है, देखो यहाँ पे आपको वो मिलेगा मैनेजिंग यूज़र ग्रुप्स, कमांड्स फॉर यूज़र मैनेजमेंट, मैनेजिंग पासवर्ड्स, मॉडिफाइंग डिलीटिंग यूज़र अकाउंट्स से कैसे करते हैं वो सब आपको यहाँ पे मिलेगा। किल कमांड कैसे वर्क करेगा, करंट एक्टिविटी आपके ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम में कौन से है वो हम लोग कैसे बताएंगे, जॉब शेड्यूल्स कैसे बनेंगे। तो ये बहुत सारी जो चीज़ें हैं वो सेम आप अगर देखोगे यहाँ से आपका एक्चुअली जो आपका इंटरेस्टिंग ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम जो प्रैक्टिकल जो है वो यूनिट 4 एंड 5 में स्टार्ट होगा। और उसके पहले जो ये फर्स्ट 3 यूनिट्स है दिस इज़ प्योर अ थियरी पार्ट, और वो यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है, ये नोट्स मैं आपके साथ शेयर करूँगा। ठीक है। सो देखो यहाँ पे हम लोगों को जो बोला है ना वो सेम चीज़ है, मेमोरी मैनेजमेंट है, इनपुट आउटपुट, और वो सर्टन मतलब फ्यू थिंग्स आर डिफरेंट हियर। लेकिन यूनिट वन जो मैंने यहाँ पे आपके साथ मैं ये नोट्स शेयर करूँगा, कंप्लीट यूनिट वन वही है जो हम लोगों को यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है। ओके। सो बेसिक यहाँ पे मैंने क्वेश्चन आंसर पैटर्न में दिया है पूरा, डिफरेंस क्या है, क्या चीज़ है, रैम रोम क्या होता है, बहुत सारी चीज़ें दी है। सो वन बाय वन हम लोग ये पढ़ेंगे, डिस्कस करते हैं। बट बिफोर वी स्टार्ट विथ आर थियरी टॉपिक, I want you guys to first understand the practical part. Okay, आपका practical कौन ले रहा है by the way? हेलो।
नेहा मैम, नेहा खुशी।
ओके। सो एनी विच वे आप जो सर्टन चीज़ें जो प्रैक्टिकल में करेंगे, आई थिंक यहाँ पे आपको जो प्रैक्टिकल कहाँ पे है, हाँ। सो देखो प्रैक्टिकल में आपको बताया कि विंडोज़ ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम के कमांड्स, लिनक्स के कमांड्स, लिनक्स के दूसरे कमांड्स, और वो सेम चीज़ जो है वो हम लोग का थियरी में भी है। देखो यहाँ पे तो आपके जो लिनक्स के कमांड्स जो है वो अगर आप प्रैक्टिकल में करेंगे तो थियरी में समझेगा। और सो मेनली आपको प्रैक्टिकल इम्पॉर्टेंट है। सो यहाँ पे जो भी हम लोग कुछ चीज़ करेंगे वो प्रैक्टिकली करेंगे, सो आपको ईजिली पता चलेगा। सो वही सेम कमांड्स वही सेम प्रैक्टिकल्स आपको यहाँ पे दिए हुए हैं। सो हम लोग प्रैक्टिकल से ही चालू करेंगे, बिकॉज यहाँ पे अगर मैं आपको सिर्फ थियरी अगर कराऊँ तो वो पॉसिबल नहीं होगा। ओके, दोनों बैच नेहा मैम के पास ही है ना, बैच वन बैच टू? हेलो।
बैच वन नेहा मैम, बैच टू का पता नहीं।
बैच टू कौन है? बैच टू अपने कोई सीआर है ही नहीं क्या आज?
सर मैं हूँ बैच 2, बट बैच 1 भी नेहा मैम ही है।
नेहा मैम ही है ना? ओके ओके ठीक है। सो हम लोग एक प्रैक्टिकल से स्टार्ट करेंगे, देन हम लोग थियोरी पे जाएंगे। ओके ओके, सो देखो हम लोग के पास जो TY का जो सेमेस्टर 6 था ना, उसका यहाँ पे प्रैक्टिकल एक मैनुअल है, उसके जो कमांड्स वाला पार्ट है वो सेम है। दिस इज़ द ISO इमेज ऑफ रेडिट 6। सो ये मैं आपके साथ शेयर कर दूंगा। तो आप वहाँ से ये सेम जो फाइल है ये डाउनलोड कर लेंगे। सो नॉर्मली जैसा हम लोगों का इंस्टॉलेशन चलेगा वैसे ही चलेगा, आपको प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा। बिकॉज एनी विच वे हम लोग के जो प्रैक्टिकल्स होंगे वो रेडिट के ऊपर ही होना है, ठीक है। और थियोरी का भी हम लोग का बहुत सारे कंसेप्ट इसी के ऊपर होंगे। और मेनली ये सब्जेक्ट ऐसा है कि जब तक अगर हम लोग थोड़ा कुछ प्रैक्टिकली देखेंगे नहीं तो आपको थियोरेटिकली कंसेप्ट्स क्लियर नहीं होंगे। देन वर्क स्टेशन रिक्वायर्ड होगा, ठीक है। तो वर्क स्टेशन का ये पुराना वर्जन है, आप लेटेस्ट वाला VMware भी इंस्टॉल कर सकते हैं। स्टेप्स क्या होंगे वो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ। यहाँ पे हम लोग के पास इसका एक मैनुअल है। गोइंग टू बी आवर मैनुअल। यहाँ पे आपको इंस्टॉलेशन के स्टेप्स दिए हुए हैं जो आपको फॉलो करना है, और उसका सेम इंस्टॉलेशन कैसे करना है इसका सेम एक वीडियो मैंने बनाया हुआ है, मैं आपके साथ शेयर करूँगा। वो सेम पैटर्न आपको यहाँ पे फॉलो करना है। ओके, सुना सबने एवरीवन? हाउ मेनी आर देयर ऑन कंप्यूटर राइट नाउ? हाउ मेनी आर देयर ऑन कंप्यूटर? रेज योर हैंड्स। ओके, और इसमें से कितने लोग हैं जो मैंने वेब प्रोग्रामिंग के टाइम पे आपको VMware बोला था उसके ऊपर ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम डालने के लिए? सो हाउ मेनी आर देयर जिनके पास VMware अभी कंप्यूटर पे है? ओके, सो मैं आपको दोनों हम लोग का जो ग्रुप है ना उस पर दोनों ये मैं आपके साथ शेयर कर रहा हूँ। आपको जो मैं कमांड्स बताऊंगा उसका वो सेम फॉलो करते हुए आपको वो इंस्टॉल करना है। आज फर्स्ट लेक्चर में मैं आपको डायरेक्ट थियरी पे नहीं लेके जा रहा हूँ, प्रैक्टिकल से स्टार्ट करके फिर थियरी पे जाएंगे।
वो है हमारे पास।
ओके, तो उसके ऊपर आपने लिनक्स इंस्टॉल किया है?
यस सर, मैंने लिनक्स और मैंने काली लिनक्स भी डाउनलोड किया है।
ओके, ठीक है, वेरी गुड।
सर बैच 2 का वो नहीं हुआ है।
ओके, नहीं हुआ है ना? ओके, तो आप ओरेकल वर्चुअल बॉक्स या VMware दोनों यूज़ कर सकते हो, दोनों का इंस्टॉलेशन होगा। आप दोनों ट्राई करो, बिकॉज VMware के ऊपर जो हम लोग एडवांस कुछ प्रैक्टिकल्स कुछ ट्राई करते हैं ना उसके लिए VMware काफ़ी प्रॉपर होता है, और आपको बेसिक कमांड्स के लिए वर्चुअल बॉक्स भी काम में आता है।
ओके सर।
हाँ, सो मैं आपके साथ अभी VMware शेयर कर रहा हूँ। सो आप उसके ऊपर भी चेक कर लो, उसके ऊपर भी ट्राई कर लो, मतलब कुछ ज़्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं होगा। ओके, सो वर्चुअल बॉक्स उसका भी प्रैक्टिकल मैंने डाला हुआ है। आपको अगर वर्चुअल बॉक्स इंस्टॉल करना है तो उसका भी मैं आपको बता दूंगा, और VMware का भी बताऊंगा, दोनों विल वर्क। और उसके साथ में जो कमांड्स है जो हम लोगों को ज़रूरी है, मतलब उसके बिना तो हम लोगों का थियरी नहीं होगा। So we'll start with that part also. So I'll just share with you. Guys, I'll be sharing one video with you. First हम लोग वो फॉलो करेंगे, और उसके बाद में फिर मैं आपको थियोरी टॉपिक पे लेके जाऊंगा जो आपको क्लियरली समझेगा। सो अगर आपका प्रैक्टिकल कुछ हुआ है या लेट होने वाला है, फिर भी आपको कुछ कंसेप्ट्स क्लियर होने चाहिए, वो सेम हम लोग यहाँ पे देख लेंगे। ठीक है, ध्यान से देखना ज़रा।
About setting up an environment to perform our practicals. To perform practicals, we need two things. One is Power ISO. Basically, it is a mounting tool which we are going to use to create a virtual drive, virtual CD drive. On that virtual CD drive, we are going to insert our operating system CD, or we can say we have created an image file of our operating system. So with the help of this type of a mounting device, it is only possible to install an operating system on virtual machine. So the very first requirement to perform our practical is Power ISO. So let's just see how to download it. Just go and Google Power ISO. the very first link, just click on that link only. Remember, basically, we don't need to download this particular software from any other websites. Basically, this particular Power ISO's official website itself provides the same software for free of cost. If you need to perform some, if you want to do some other operations, then you need to purchase a license for the same. Otherwise, just for simple things, what we are going to perform, or the requirement, which are the requirement for our practicals, for those things we don't need to purchase, or we don't need to crack this particular software. So basically, we are just going to download it from its official site only. As you can see, it is a Power ISO official site. Now they have provided two versions for the same. As you can see, download Power ISO, this is the latest version. As I'm creating video now, so as per this, this is the latest version. If you're watching this particular video in the future, then it might be some other version here. So what we need to do, we just need to more emphasize on this two part, that is whether our operating system is of 32 bits or 64 bits. If it is of a 32 bits, then we need to download this particular part, and if it is of a 64 bit, then we need to download this particular part. So just remember this thing. So how to check your operating systems? So just go to My Computer, or in Windows 8 and Windows 10 you will find this PC. So just right click on it, go to Properties. So once we click on a property, it gives us a window or information about our system. So as you can see, we have a system. Basically in my computer I have Windows 10, and this particular operating system is of 32 bits. So as you can see, my operating system is of a 32 bit, and hence I'm going to download the same version here, that is of a 32 bit. Just click on it and download will start. It is very small software, so you don't need to work much, and it basically gives you some other options, like it promotes some of the search engine search managers, so you can directly skip if you want. Just I'm clicking on a skip. And the same way, if they are asking about some other requirements, here also I don't require, or we don't require this particular thing, so you can skip this particular part as well. And as soon as we click on a skip, our download will start. So as you can see, our download started now. Here is our download. Basically, I have already downloaded this particular part, so I'm not going to again download the same. So I'll just cancel this download.
Do you want to learn how to hack into systems as an ethical hacker? Check this, I've used.
And now the second requirement or second software which is required for to perform our practical is Oracle VirtualBox. Remember, we are going to perform practical on both type of virtual machine. One is Oracle VirtualBox and second is on Microsoft VMware. So first I'll show you how to install operating system on VirtualBox, and then in future lecture I'll again discuss how to install the same operating system on VMware and how to perform practical there as well. So you just need to Google this much, Oracle VirtualBox download. Here also you will find an official link or official website of Oracle VirtualBox. We just need to go to that particular part. As you can see here, they have provided two links. Basically these are the first links after advertisements. These are the very first links. So as you can see, you can directly go to download section, or you can first go to Oracle main web page, index page, and then you can redirect yourself to download. So I'm directly going to click on this particular download part. So as soon as we click on this, you'll find different options there. So basically, Oracle VirtualBox is available for Linux machines as well, Unix machines as well, Apple machines as well, and Windows as well. So in my computer, I have Windows operating system. So obviously we are going to download this particular part only. So it is very first part, and as you can see, this particular software is free to use. Why it is free to use? Because it comes with GPL license. Remember, GPL stands for General Public License, and hence we don't need to purchase any license, or we don't need to pay any money for the same. So I'm going to click on Windows download. As you can see, download started. As you can see, we have multiple part. If previously you are not be able to just have a look properly, so I'll just zoom it. And as you can see, we have 4 options available. So based on type of operating system you are using, you can download any one of this. So once we are done with download, we can just install this particular softwares now. So now we have 2 particular softwares here. One is Oracle VirtualBox and second is Power ISO. So one by one, we'll install both this particular software. So let's start with one, that is Oracle VirtualBox. Double click on it. It is very simple to install the same. You just need to click on run. As soon as we click on run, installation process will be start. So our installation process started, as you can see here. So we just need to click on next. That's it. Nothing more to discuss here. So just click on next. Here it is basically asking about the location where you need to install this particular part. So as you can see, in my computer, it is going to install in C drive program files, in that Oracle, and in that this particular software is going to create one more folder with the name VirtualBox. Then here it is asking about creating a startup menu, then shortcut on desktop and few other things. So just click on next. As soon as we click on next, it gives us some warning. We don't care about it right now. So once this many steps are done, it is now ready for installation. Just click on install, and here our installation process started. So here we are done with installing this particular part. So I'll just click on finish, and as soon as we click on a finish, main VirtualBox window will appear here. So as you can see, this is how our Oracle VirtualBox manager looks like. So here we can install our operating system. So how to use this particular software, we'll discuss now. But before that, we also need to install Power ISO. So let's just install Power ISO now. So double click on this particular icon or this particular downloaded setup. It basically asks us, it basically required administrative permission. That is what that sound all about. So now in this particular installation, as you can see, you just need to click on agree. That means you are accepting the agreement. We don't need this particular search engine, so you can just dislike this particular part and just click on the required software, which is only we are going to install the software which is required for our practical, nothing else we required. So just click on next. As you can see here also, it is going to provide you the location where the Power ISO is going to be installed. So it in my computer, it is going to be installed in C drive program files, Power ISO. How many space it is required? 13 MB only, not much amount is required. So here our installation is started. Once it done installing software, then before completing the process, we need to follow some steps. Remember, don't click on finish before we follow some steps. That is the most important part. So as soon as we done installing this particular part, so as you can see, I'm done installing this particular part. Now just click on next. As soon as we click on next, you'll find such type of window where it basically provide you many different extensions. So just select all, so that whichever type of, if any of this type of file appears in your computer, Power ISO will automatically recognize that particular file. Select all. And one more thing, we are going to create one virtual drive here. Like we have one physical CD-ROM or CD drive in our computer, the same way we are going to create virtual drive. Now when we insert one virtual CD, virtual operating CD on that particular drive, then many times it might happens that that particular CD automatically gets unmounted from that particular drive. So for that reason, we have to keep that CD there only. So we'll click on auto mount on boot up. So whenever your computer starts, whichever CD you have mounted or whichever CD you have inserted, virtual CD, whichever virtual CD you have inserted on that particular virtual drive will be automatically mounted again. Means that particular drive will be again occupied with that particular virtual CD. And here you will find many drives. You can create multiple drives. As you can see, maximum 23 virtual CD drives you can create. But for our practical, we just need one. So just click on one and close it. Now one more thing, Power ISO needs to before we start using Power ISO, you need to restart your computer. Then only Power ISO will start functioning properly. So remember, we need to restart our computer. So now
अगर ऑलरेडी जो सेटअप मैं बता रहा हूँ वो अगर आपके पास है तो यू कैन कंटिन्यू, एल्स आई विल शेयर द सेम सेटअप. अभी के लिए आप स्टेप्स नोट करके रख सकते हो. आई बी ऑल्सो शेयरिंग अ मैनुअल, बट वो मैनुअल में आपको जो ये स्टेप्स है वो नहीं मिलेंगे जो हम लोग का ओरेकल वर्चुअल बॉक्स है उसके. सो एक सेटअप हम लोग VMware पे करेंगे, एक ओरेकल वर्चुअल बॉक्स पे करेंगे. जो VMware वाला जो सेटअप है वो मैं आपको अलग से बताऊंगा. आज हम लोग वर्चुअल बॉक्स वाला देख रहे हैं और उसके साथ में सर्टन कमांड्स होंगे. और जो सेटअप होगा उसके साथ में जब हम लोग थियोरी पढ़ेंगे तो आपको इजीली समझ में आएगा. सो यू शुड हैव वन ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम विथ यू सो दैट फ्यूचर में आपको वो सेम पॉइंट्स क्लियरली समझ में आए. ओके, सो विल कंटिन्यू विद दिस प्रैक्टिकल नाउ.
guys, so in last lecture we discussed about setting up an environment so that we can easily install Red Hat on that particular machine. So now we already know that before performing practicals we need two things. One is Power ISO, second is Oracle Virtual Machine. Now both these things are already installed on our system based on previous lecture. Now we have virtual machine ready. Now on that virtual machine we are going to install Red Hat 6. See, as you can see, I have this particular file present with me. Same way you can install Fedora as well. You can search this particular files online. I'll show you at the end of this lecture from where you can download this particular files. Now let's start installing this particular operating system, that is Red Hat 6. Remember, we are using Red Hat version 6. So we'll use this particular file on our system. Now as you can see, it is an ISO or it is an image of an operating system. Now before installing, it should have this icon on it, that is Power ISO's icon. As you can see, this is the icon of Power ISO. That means Power ISO already recognized this particular type of a CD or this particular type of a file. So now it is easy or it is possible for us to install operating system on our virtual machine using this particular CD or image file of an operating system. So let's just start. So what we need to do now, before we start, we need to insert this particular CD on our virtual drive. Remember, so we first need to check we have this virtual drive created here. In my computer it is G drive. It might be some different drive in your computer. So as you can see, this is this particular virtual drive comes with Power ISO icon. So it is G drive on my computer. So now what we are going to do, we are going to insert this virtual CD in that virtual drive. So or in technical terms we call it mounting. So we just need to right click on this particular icon or CD. Then you will find an option which is named as Power ISO. Go to that option. Here it gives us different options from where we can set different more drive options. Or G drive is, as you can see, it is showing mount image to drive G because that drive does not have any media presently mounted on that particular drive. As you can see, it's showing no media. That means that CD drive is blank for now. So what we are going to do, we are going to mount this particular CD on drive G. So just click on this particular option. As soon as we mount it, as you can see now on our drive G also it is showing RHEL 6. Remember, RHEL stands for Red Hat Enterprise Linux. that is version 6. So now CD is mounted on our drive. So now we'll start installation. So how to start installation? First, open up your Oracle virtual machine or virtual box, then click on new. As soon as we click on new, as you can see, this particular type of window appears where it asks us to name any, basically provide any name to our operating system. So here I'm installing Red Hat, so we'll just give a name Red Hat 6. Okay, now it is giving me an error that showing that Red Hat 6 an operating system or an virtual machine with this name is already present on my system. So what I need to do, I'll just change this name. So from Red Hat 6, I'll just make it Red Hat. So as you can see, I changed my name. And one more thing, as soon as you can enter any name, you can give any name to your operating system, but make sure you have to select, in type you have to select Linux, and in version we have to select Red Hat 32 bits. And as you can see, here also the logo of that particular operating system appears. If these three things are not correct, then you will not be able to install Linux on your system. So make sure this setting. Then click on next. As soon as we click on next, it asks us how much RAM we are going to allocate to this particular virtual machine. So in my system I have 2 GB. Out of that 2 GB, system automatically recommending me to allocate 1 GB to this particular virtual machine. So I can keep the settings same. Remember, I'm allocating 1 GB, 1 MB, that is 1024 MB. Now it gives us an option whether you want to create a virtual hard drive, that is a center option. Keep the option same. We do not need to make any changes to this, and just click on create. As soon as we click on create, it asks us 3 options, that is virtual disk image and virtual hard disk and virtual machine disk. Keep first option as it is because it is very important for our future lectures. I'll show you why it is important at the end of this lecture, but just keep this option same. Then click on next. As soon as we click on next, it is asking us whether the hard disk, I mean virtual hard disk, which is now we are going to provide. So the memory which we are going to provide to this hard disk, whether we need to allocate it dynamically or in a static manner. Remember, keep it dynamically, because if you allocate a hard disk of 16 GB or 15 GB to this particular virtual machine, and if you click on static, then it creates a problem. Why? Because every time it reserves that much memory for your virtual machine, whether your virtual machine using that memory or not. So we just need to click on dynamically allocate hard disk. Remember, so with the help of this particular option, if your virtual machine needs only 4 GB out of 15 GB which we have allocated to your system, then it occupies only 4 GB, not the whole 15 GB. So hence we need to keep this option same, that is dynamically only, and then click on next. Here it asking us to provide a size for our hard disk. By default it is showing 8 GB, but we need a little bit more than this, because we are going to install many softwares, or you can say packages, and we are going to perform few practicals as well. So we need a bit more memory. So just keep this memory around 15 to 16 GB. As you can see, I'm going to allocate it is 16 GB, 17 GB, and then click on create. So as soon as we click on create, as you can see, one computer or one virtual machine is ready to install operating system on it. Remember, we have not started installing operating system yet. It is just a virtual machine, a computer like we are using one. That type of a computer is created now. Virtually that type of a computer is created, where we have allocated hard disk to that computer, where we have allocated RAM to that particular computer, and now we are going to start installing an operating system on that particular computer. So now just click on start, or you can either double click on this particular icon. As soon as we click on it, this type of window appears. As you can see, here it is showing from which drive we need to install operating system. So basically it is showing me F drive, and also it gives us an option on which we have mounted our CD. As you can see, we have mounted our virtual Red Hat CD on G drive. So what we need to do, we need to choose that particular drive here as well. So I'll choose G drive and start. So as soon as we click on a start, as you can see, our Red Hat operating system installation is started now. Either you can just directly press enter, or you can just wait for some time. As you can see, automatically the system will start booting after 60 seconds. So that means automatically system will start installing after 60 seconds, or just press enter. So as soon as you press enter, here as you can see, installation process started now.
Do you want to learn how to hack into systems as an ethical hacker? Check this. I've used.
Now in this particular part, it is asking us whether we have any physical CD present with us or not. So now, right now, we do not have any physical CD present with us. We have just we have that virtual image of Red Hat 6. So we just need to skip this particular part. Do not click on OK, otherwise it asks us for physical CD. We don't have any physical CD present with us for Red Hat operating system. So we need to click on skip. Now remember, your mouse won't work here. Remember, mouse won't work here. We need to use our keyboard. So we have arrow key present on our keyboard. Just press left arrow and click OK. Press enter. So just press, as you can see, left arrow and press enter. So here we skipped checking for physical CD, and now automatically it is going to start fetching files from that virtual drive or virtual CD. As you can see, now installation drive or installation CD found it. So once it starts installing, it asks us many different questions, or you can say steps. So as you can see, we have multiple steps present here. Now Red Hat 6 installation started. Click on next. Now as you can see, it is asking us that as soon as we click on this particular window, a new mouse will appear, and that mouse will be in a black in a color. And if you want to come out of this virtual machine, then we need to press right side control key. Remember, right side control key we need to press to come out to Windows again. So click capture and click OK. So as soon as we click on OK, now our mouse is in Windows. As you can see, we have two mouse. Basically, as you can see here, we have two mouse. One is white mouse, which is for Windows, and black mouse, that is for Linux. Then click on next. As soon as we click on next, it asks us to choose a language. We are going to choose English only, US English. So English. Then again it asks for US English. Click next. Here it is asking us 2 points, that is basic storage device or specialized storage device. So we are going to perform very basic practicals. We are not going to perform, or we are not going to use Red Hat for any advanced purpose, and hence we are going to install it for basic storage device only. As soon as we click on OK, it fires some, as you can see, it fires some warning where it's saying that we have allocated 16 GB or 16 or 17 GB to this particular machine, and if we have any particular data present on that particular disk, then we might lose that particular data. But don't worry about it, because system automatically allocates free memory only to this particular part. So you can just press on reinitialize all this warning and start installation. So click on reinitialize all. As soon as we click on that, it appears with this particular screen where it is showing host name is equal to, or host name front of it is written like localhost.local domain. Host name, that is your computer's name. So by default, Linux sets our computer's name or host name as localhost.local domain. Click on next. Keep this same only, because we are going to change it in our future practicals. So right now, for now, just keep the name as it is and click on next. As soon as we click on next, it gives us this type of an option where we need to select a time zone. So instead of choosing time zone from drop down list, we can directly go to this particular map, go to India. As you can see, it shows us Kolkata, Asia. That is our time zone. So just click on that and our India and time zone is automatically selected, and then click on next. As soon as we click on next, it asks us to enter root password. Now remember, like in Windows we have admin account or administrator, or we can say a super user. The same way in Linux as well, we have super user, and that super user or admin user is called as root user. So here our system asking us to set a password for our root user or super user. He is the main authority in Linux who can perform any task. So we need to set password for this particular user. Now we are working on our system for very first time. Many of you are working for very first time. We are not that much familiar, and we are also going to perform many practical on this particular system, and hence we keep password similar only. So we are using Red Hat 6. So keep the password Red Hat 6 only, common for now. Remember, keep the password common for now, so that it won't make any confusion in future practicals. So just keep it Red Hat 6. Red Hat in a small and 6, digital 6. So here, as you can see, it giving us a warning that our password is very weak. We don't care for now, because we are going to perform very basic practicals. So just click on use anyway. Now here it gives us an option, one option where it is saying that create custom layout. Remember, we are not installing this particular operating system directly on a computer. We are installing this particular Red Hat on very limited memory. So for this reason, we need to create a customized copy of our operating system. We don't need all the softwares which is by default provided by Red Hat. So here we are going to click on create custom layout. Remember, it is not visible for now, but in last you will find an option create custom layout. As you can see here, create custom layout. So what we need to do, we need to click on create custom layout. As you can see, we have created custom layout, then click on next. As soon as we click on next, here as you can see a window appears where it asks us to create partition, or in Windows term we say drive. As we know, we have C drive, D drive, many drive present in our system. The same way here also we can create drives, but in Linux we call it partition. So we are going to create different partitions here. Now first partition, as you can see, you can just directly double click. It gives us total memory which is present in our system. So we have allocated around 17 GB. So in MB, if you convert it, it is like 17,257 MB. So you can just directly double click on this particular part to create a new partition. It will create partition like this. As you can see, DEV, that is device, and SDA. Then SDA 0, SDA 1, SDA 2, this type of a partition it is going to create for different reasons. So you can just directly double click on it, and it gives us add partition kind of a option, or you can click on, just select this memory and click on create. In this particular window, as you can see, it gives us a different option, where first option is by default like standard partition, which we can create right now, or else red partition, red, that is redundant array of independent disk. This particular technology we use to take a backup. Then third type is create LVM. LVM stands for logical volume manager. Here we can create a virtual hard disk. So right now we are not concerned with this part, but just keep the option same, that is standard partition, and click on create. So it gives us an option to create or add partition. So by double clicking you will get the same window, or by clicking on create also you will get the same option. So first partition which we are going to create is root partition. Remember, / in Linux means a root directory or a main directory. Like in Windows we have in C drive we have program file which contains all the important files in us with respect to our operating system. The same way in Linux as well, this root directory contains all the important files or all the important packages or softwares, and their configuration file you will find in this particular location. So first partition which we are going to create, that partition is we are going to create for a root partition. Remember, root directory, we are going to create a partition for a root directory. Now this is our file system. In Linux we have file system like ext. Ext stands for extension version 4. Like in Windows we have file system like NTFS, new technology file system. Then we have FAT, that is file allocation table, FAT16 or FAT32. That file system means some language which we basically operating system uses. For example, we all have our mother tongue like Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, anything. The same way operating system also have their mother tongue. So we can say this ext is the mother tongue of Red Hat. Now file system. So for root partition we have this particular language, and we are going to allocate size for now. So as you can see, we need approx 4 GB of a space for this. So in MBs if we say, then it is approximately 4000 MBs. Remember, it is in GB we can say 4 GB, around 4 GB. It is not exactly 4 GB because 1 GB is equal to 1024 MB. So approximately I am saying that 4000 MBs, that is approx 4 GB. Then click on create. So we are going to create two partition. As you can see, first is root partition, and second, the partition which we are going to create is for swap. Remember, we have to click on file system type, and from there select swap. Now what we mean by a swap? As we know, whenever we start any application on our computer, one executable copy of that particular application gets one copy of executable file loads on our RAM, that is random access memory, and as soon as that executable file starts executing itself on a RAM, that application appears on our computer. So that is the main purpose of RAM. So whichever application we start or we try to start on our operating system, their executable file starts executing or first loads on RAM, and then it starts executing itself on RAM only. Now many times it happens that we try to start or we try to work with multiple applications at the same point of time, and that will hamper performance of your computer, or sometimes a computer gets hanged. So to avoid those situations, Linux provides us with this type of partition which is called as swap. So whenever we try to open multiple applications, so if RAM is full, if RAM is not be able to add any more executable file on itself or on its memory, then the least used application which is present on RAM, those application for some time will be switched over to this particular partition, that is swap. And now we have RAM available for new application. So as you can see, some application which are least used, those applications or those executable file temporary we switch it to, or we basically send it over swap, so that we have enough memory on our RAM to execute other applications. And as soon as user again demand for the same application, what Linux do is Linux will again get those files from swap memory again on a RAM memory. So that is the main reason of a swap partition. So to reduce or to handle the burden of RAM, we have swap partition. So whenever RAM is overburdened, some applications or some executable file from RAM switch or goes over to swap memory. And whenever we call those application back. Again, Linux put or call those application from swap memory back to RAM. I hope this particular point is clear. So, and hence this particular partition is very important. And by default, we follow one approach, like if we have 1 GB of RAM, then provide make the swap partition double of RAM. So approximately I'll say I'll give it 2 GB. Remember, 2000 MB, approx 2 GB. So my RAM size is 1024, as we already discussed. So here we are going to provide swap memory with the size of 2000 MBs and click on OK. Now remember, we are only going to create 2 partition only. Rest all other partition will automatically created by Linux or Red Hat. So we don't care about other partitions. System automatically creates it in a proper manner. These 2 partition are very important, and hence we have created this 2 partition. Rest all are automatically created by our operating system only. So now click on next. As soon as we click on next, as you can see, it is basically the memory which we have allocated for our virtual machine where we are installing Red Hat now. That memory was basically from Windows operating system, that is MS-DOS. So now what this warning states that those 16 or 17 GB of memory which we have allocated for our virtual machine, so it is basically written in MS-DOS, and now this particular operating system will format and make it in a file format which is compatible or which is suitable for our Linux operating system, that it is going to format that particular partition in a way of ext4 file system so that we can easily write it. So as you can see, we'll just format and write changes to disk. Click on this. As soon as we click on this, as you can see, it's showing that drive is formatted. It is created. This is second partition which is created under DEV SDA1. Same way it is created SDA2 as well. And now as you can see, it gives us the option install bootloader on this particular drive. So by default, bootloader is the main script or a main file which is very important for starting off our operating system. We will discuss about bootloader in our future lecture as well, but for now just remember, bootloader is one of the most important file. Without bootloader, our computer won't be able to start. So by default, bootloader in Linux installed on this particular drive, that is DEV SDA. If you want, we can change this device as well. We can install it on our on some different partition or some different device as well. But for our practical, we are going to keep it same only and click on next. So as soon as we click on next, it asks us, as you can see, installation process started. It is in a progress now. Now it is asking us some option, as you can see here. It asks us options like whether we want to customize it later or customize it now. Remember, we have to customize it right now only. We have to customize it now. So we need to click on customize now. And now as soon as we click on customize now, why we have not customized it later? Because if we click on this particular option and if we click on next, then your operating system will be installed without GUI, and that is very difficult to work with. You just need to work with the help of commands only. And we need to work on this particular operating system like we work on Windows with GUI, and hence we need to customize it now. We have very limited memory present on our hard disk, so we cannot afford to waste those memories. So only required softwares or required packages. Remember, package means software only in Linux. So only required software or packages we are going to install here. So customize now and click on next. As you can see, it gives us an option like this. So it gives us option like this where we have to select multiple packages. So from base system, we can select networking tools. We have different packages, but we are not concerned with all those packages for now. But if we want to connect this particular operating system in network, then we need some networking tools. So I'll just select just for example purpose, I've selected one package from here, that is networking tool. From server, as you can see, for TY we have multiple this type of a practical. So we'll select FTP, NFS, and we can select other as well. FTP stands for file transfer protocol. NFS stands for Network File System. From web services, we choose web server. And now rest all other packages are similar. We don't need to make any changes. Remember, do not deselect any packages which is by default selected by our system, because those are very important for our installation. So just select few of the packages, and for out of those all packages, desktop and packages which I'm going to list out now, those packages are very important for a proper installation of Linux. So remember, here from desktop option, choose 3 packages. One is desktop, next is KDE desktop. This is basically, it provides a GUI like Windows, so it gets very easy for us to work on Linux as well. So KDE desktop and X Windows system. Remember, without X Windows system, GUI is not possible on Linux operating system. X Windows system, this package is very important. So do not forget to mark or add this particular package on your system. Otherwise, your Red Hat won't be properly installed. Now we are done. We are done selecting all the packages. Now we just need to click on next. As soon as we click on next, our system will start installing. As you can see, it checks dependency. It means whether our system is capable enough to install this particular operating system or not. And then it will start installing packages. As you can see, it transferring files from image which we have mounted on virtual drive to hard drive, which we have provided to this particular virtual system, that is something around 17 GB. And here the installation process started now. So as you can see, installation process started, and now it will install all the packages. And for any student, if this installation process get failed, that means you have not allocated memory properly. So you have to again go and create a new virtual machine and allocate memory properly. That is the only possible way. We can create.
Okay, so we'll just wait for 2 minutes. ये lecture end होने के बाद में we'll continue with this practical. Again we'll continue now.
Other ways as well, but for is the only possible way. We can create other ways as well, but for a better easy purpose, just directly create a new virtual machine and allocate a new memory, and you can delete the previous one. And how to delete it? Just right click on it and click on remove, delete all files. Remember, click on delete all files. That is how you can delete older virtual machines which is present on your system. So here it will take, like, if your machine is fine, then it takes 15-20 minutes, and if your machine is quite slow, then it takes half an hour as well. So as you can see, our installation is done now. So post installation, it starts a bootloader. Bootloader is installing right now. Remember, bootloader is one of the most important part, which is required for starting up of our operating system. We'll discuss about bootloader in future lecture. Now, once the installation is finished, it asks us to restart our machine or reboot. So click on reboot. That means restart.
This is Udemy, the world's largest marketplace for online learning. On Udemy, I learned ethical hacking.
So here it is rebooting or restarting our system. So once it starts with, as you can see, this type of a message is showing. Once it starts again, some final step which we need to follow. So this is how the startup screen of Red Hat looks like. So once it starts, as you can see, it gives us some option like welcome screen. We don't care what message is showing here. Just click on forward Then it is asking here to accept the license. Remember, it is asking to accept the license. So what we need to do, click on yes, I agree, and click on forward. Here it is asking us why should we connect to RHN, that is Red Hat network. We can directly install packages if we connect to this particular network online. We can directly install many softwares online only, but for our practical we don't need that. If you want, you can just click on this and you can sign up on their website, and officially you can download many softwares from their website only. But for here, for our practical, I'm not signing up there. So just click on forward. As you can see, it asks us to create a new user. So here I'll create a user with my name. You can create with your name, and remember, don't make any changes. Keep the password similar only, that is Red Hat 6. Here also I'm keeping my password as Red Hat 6 and click on next. It's showing warning that password is weak. Use anyway. Click on use anyway, and now it is showing like which date and time we need to use. So if we are installing this particular system in a network, then we can directly synchronize this particular machine with our server with the help of NTP, that is Network Time Protocol. But we are using an individual machine, so we don't need to synchronize time of this machine over a network. So keep it as it is and click on forward.
Just 5 minutes break guys, थोड़ा disturbance है.
As soon as we click on forward, as you can see, it gives us some this type of option that insufficient memory for KDM. We don't care because we have provided very less memory, and we don't care about this as well. It doesn't matter in our practicals, in short. So once we click on forward and finish, as you can see, our system started now. We have created one user with I've created one user with my name, that is Tiruk Parmar. And one other option is there. Remember, other means root account in Linux. Remember, other means root account in Linux. So we'll log in with root user only. So click on others. By default, your username is root, ROOT. And as we know, we have provided password Red Hat 6 only. So my password is Red Hat 6. And press enter. So this is how our operating system for very first time looks like. This type of messages doesn't concern for us, so you can just skip those messages. This is how it looks like, as you can see here. From here you can just directly, as you can see, it's showing from which user we have logged in. So we have logged in from a root user, date, time, whether you are connected with network or not. And as you can see, now we are going to also connect this particular CD in our Red Hat operating system as well, because there are many software which we have not installed yet. And if we want to install those packages on our Red Hat operating system, then we should have access of this particular CD or this particular virtual drive on our Red Hat operating system as well. And that is the only reason we are going to mount this particular CD or this particular Red Hat image now in Linux or now in our virtual machine. So how we can do that? We can do it from here as well, but for now I'm not showing that particular part. We can directly just go to virtual machine where our operating system is on for now. As you can see here, just go to devices. In devices you will find option like CD, DVD. As you can see, G drive is already selected, but that CD is not showing, or that CD is not displayed on our desktop for now, or on our main window for now. So what we need to do, just deselect this G drive and again select it. So as you can see, if you again select it, here our CD appears, and these are the packages. How to install package, that will discuss in future lecture. I hope this particular part is clear. And now we also need one more thing here. That is, we are going to perform practical, or we are going to use basic command that we use with the help of, or most of practical we are going to perform with the help of terminal. Like we have command prompt in Windows, in Linux we call it terminal. So how to use it? Go to application, system tools. Here you will find last option, that is terminal. Right click on it and click on add this launch to desktop. So just click on that, and as you can see, terminal appears. If you double click on this, it looks like this. How to use it we'll have a look in future lecture. Just close it for now. We have different options present here. Okay, and now one more thing, you don't need to every time shut down this machine. You can just directly click on close, and then you can just close it like save machine state. So next time your computer or this particular operating system start directly where you have stopped it. As you can see, we don't need to shut down and again start it. So that saves a lot of time. So it just saving your machine state. So your operating system is not shutting down your operating system. As you can see, machine state is saved. If you again click on start, it starts our operating system from where we have stopped it. As you can see, it is starting without a previous booting process. Directly our machine is started now. I hope this particular part is clear. Now, few last points which are required before we start with the practical. As you can see, from here we can switch users, we can lock our screen, we can quit users. From here we have many different options. You just need to browse those options. From here we can create different new user. As you can see here, we have user and group add options. Add or remove software, we can use it from here. From here we can add new users, and from here we can update our existing softwares. From here we can directly connect it to Red Hat official network. Then from here we can shut down or we can log out from a root account.
We are fascinating. We launch rockets to Mars.
ओके सो दैट्स इट फॉर नाउ. वो हम लोगों का प्रैक्टिकल का पार्ट था. अब जो भी कोई अगर ट्राई कर रहा है एंड इफ़ यू आर फेसिंग एनी एरर लेट मी नो. और ये जो लिंक है वो मैंने ग्रुप में शेयर कर दी है, सो यू कैन रेफर दोज लेक्चर लिंक फ्रॉम देयर एज वेल. कितने लोगों ने ट्राई किया है अभी जिनका इंस्टॉल हुआ है सेम वे में? रेज योर हैंड्स. एनीवन वो ट्राइंग? कोई नहीं, ठीक है. सो अभी ट्राई कर लेना. I'll give you 5-10 minutes टाइम. अगर आपको कोई एक प्रोसेस कंप्लीट करना है या आपने अगर ये सेम प्रैक्टिकल्स अगर फॉलो किया है तो बताओ मुझे.
क्या कोई नया वर्जन आया है?
हाँ ऑफ कोर्स Reddit 6 जो है पुराना है.
ओके सर.
हम लोग लेटेस्ट वाला भी कर सकते हैं. अब मेनली क्या है कि वापस उसका ISO फाइल मैं ढूंढ के डाउनलोड करूँगा. वो सब करने से बेटर है कि मैंने वही वाला जो है वही बता दिया है. So we are not downloading the latest version for now, but yeah, of course from your end you guys can download the latest version and try it on that latest version itself. So things remain same. मतलब जो कमांड हम लोग यहाँ पे परफॉर्म करेंगे वो सेम वहाँ पे परफॉर्म करेंगे. वो कुछ चेंजेस नहीं रहेंगे. हाँ उसमें एडवांस ऑप्शंस आपको बहुत सारे मिलेंगे नॉर्मली अगर आपको वो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम यूज करना है तो. ओके
ओके सर.
ट्राई करिए डाउनलोड करने का.
हाँ डू ट्राई इट राइट नाउ. सो आपको पता चलेगा. आपको कुछ डाउट्स अगर आ रहे हैं तो आई कैन हेल्प यू आउट विद दैट.
ओके सर.
और एक पॉइंट जो था हम लोगों का वीडियो का रह गया था, विल जस्ट फिनिश अप दैट पॉइंट और उसके बाद आप कंटिन्यू करो. देख लो एक बार ध्यान से.
It took me a long time for you as well. It takes a long time for all this installation. Now if we have installed this particular operating system for once, we can use it multiple times, remember, without installation. Now how to do that? I mean, I've installed my Red Hat on this particular machine. Now I can directly use this particular setup and I'll just copy it on multiple computers, and without installing Red Hat I can directly start using our machine using this particular operating system there as well. So how to do that? Go to machines, show explorer. As you can see, it opens up one window. Here is, you will find few options here. we have one red box, we have one blue box and red box. As you can see, this is how it looks like. So this is our ready-made setup. So whatever setting we have applied while installing our Red Hat, all this setting is present here. So now every time we don't need to install our operating system again and again. So what we need to do, just make sure whenever you copy this particular folder, it should be approx 3 GB of size. As you can see, it is 2.97, means approx 3 GB of size. If it is less than 3 GB or if it is less than 2 GB, that means your setup is corrupted. So just click OK. Now what I'm going to do, I'll just copy this particular setup at some other location. Remember, we should have this many files. So I'll just copy it on some other location. Whole folder you need to copy. So copy and I'll paste it on some other place, as you can see. So here it has created a new setup. The same copy is copied here now. Now we have same files here as well, as you can see. Now if I delete this particular virtual machine from here, as you can see, before deleting I need to discard a status, saved status. So I'll just discard saved status. Now if I delete or if I uninstall Red Hat from here, still I can use it from that shortcut as well. So I'll click on remove, delete all files. As you can see, now I don't have any operating system here installed on my virtual machine. Now with the help of that particular setup, I can directly use it without installation. So as you can see, we have this setup. We just need to double click on this blue box. Remember, you don't need to do anything else. Just double click on this blue box and our operating system starts automatically. It takes like 30 to 40 seconds. As you can see, our operating system started again without installation. So I hope this particular part is clear. This is very basic information which is required before we start with our practicals. So hence I have explained, I tried to explain each and every small aspect of our practical part. So from next lecture onwards, we'll start with our practical. Remember, we should have all these things present on our system. Then
ओके सो हम लोगों ने अभी वहाँ पे फर्स्ट जो देखा कि एक वर्चुअल बॉक्स के ऊपर ऑपरेटिंग रेड हैट कैसे इंस्टॉल करता है. आगे हम लोग थोड़े लेक्चर्स जो देखेंगे उसमें मेनली जब 4th यूनिट हम लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे, दैट टाइम विल अगेन डिस्कस कि जो हम लोगों का VMware के ऊपर इंस्टॉलेशन होता है वो कैसे होता है, उसका क्या बेनिफिट होता है और उसके थ्रू आप कैसे प्रॉपर वे में अपने प्रैक्टिकल्स देख सकते हो. सो आई प्रिफर VMware बिकॉज थोड़ा बल्कि भले है लेकिन आपको बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस वो वहाँ पे देता है. सो इसके लिए मैं वर्चुअल बॉक्स पहले यूज़ करता था, अब मैं वो यूज़ नहीं करता हूँ. VMware इज़ अ बेटर बिकॉज आप देखो कि जब भी हम लोगों ने वर्चुअल बॉक्स के थ्रू लिनक्स इंस्टॉल किया, सो वी रिक्वायर्ड ISO एज वेल, पावर ISO इंस्टॉल करना पड़ा, जिसके थ्रू मैं वो जो ISO इमेज था उसको माउंट कर सकूँ, जिसमें से हम लोगों का ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम इंस्टॉल होने वाला है. आप जब VMware यूज़ करते हैं ना, तो VMware में आपको वो ISO माउंट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती, ऑटोमेटिकली सेटअप अवेलेबल होता है. तो ये आपका बेनिफिट होता है, ठीक है. और भी बहुत सारे बेनिफिट्स है. आप अगर जब दोनों इंडिविजुअली यूज़ करेंगे थोड़े टाइम, तो आपको पता चलेगा कि विच वन इज़ बेटर फॉर योर पर्पज़. ओके, सो दिस इज़ द बिगिनिंग ऑफ आवर लेक्चर सीरीज, दैट इज़ ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम. मैं डायरेक्टली आपको सर्टन पॉइंट्स बता रहा हूँ. उसका मेन रीज़न यही है कि आप डायरेक्टली वो स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट के ऊपर काम करना चालू करो, सो दैट जैसे जैसे हम लोग आगे सब्जेक्ट में डिस्कशन करेंगे आपको और डिटेलिंग पता चलते जाए. ओके, नाउ ये सब होने के बाद में हम लोगों को कमांड्स के साथ कैसे वर्क करना है, मतलब बेसिक कुछ कमांड्स जो आपको पता होने चाहिए। तो ये इंस्टॉलेशन वाला वीडियो मैंने दिया है, आपके साथ शेयर किया है ग्रुप में, लिंक सेम आपको वहाँ पे मिल जाएगा। सेकेंड थिंग इज बेसिक कमांड्स हम लोगों को आने चाहिए। तो बेसिक कमांड्स आपको पता होने चाहिए, आपने किया है नहीं किया है आई डोंट नो, बट वो बेसिक कमांड्स आपको कैसे हम लोग वर्कआउट करेंगे उसके साथ में, वो जो उसका मैनुअल है वो मैनुअल मैं आपके साथ शेयर कर दूंगा। बट अभी जो मैं आपको बेसिक कमांड्स बता रहा हूँ वो बेसिक कमांड्स आप नोट कर लेना, जो आपको ट्राई करना है खुद से। तो अभी ये आपका टास्क है कि ये जो हम लोगों ने वीडियो में इंस्टॉलेशन देखा वो सेम इंस्टॉलेशन आपको ट्राई करना है। हम लोग का जो ग्रुप है उसके ऊपर मैं रेडिट का ISO इमेज पोस्ट कर दूंगा। तो अगर आपके पास रेडिट का ISO फाइल नहीं है, आप वो सेम इमेज यूज़ कर सकते हो, उसमें से इंस्टॉल करेंगे, कमांड्स उस पर ट्राई करेंगे। रिमेंबर हम लोगों को एक कमांड्स कैसे वर्क करता है, उसके फाइल्स कैसे एक्सेस करता है, ये सीखना है। ये अगर आपको आ गया तो आप कोई भी दूसरे ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम पे भी, मतलब लिनक्स के कोई दूसरे जो अलग अलग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशंस है उसके ऊपर भी ये सेम काम कर पाओगे। ओके, सो कमांड्स देखते हैं अभी हम लोग, बेसिक कमांड्स इंस्टॉलेशन के बाद में कौन से होंगे वो। ओके, अभी के वीडियो में जो भी हम लोग बेसिक कमांड्स के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे, सर्टेन डिफरेंस जो बताया वो मैं आपको बाद में हम लोग डिस्कस करने ही वाला है, सो वो मैं नहीं बता रहा हूँ आपको। हाँ, लेकिन उसको छोड़ के मैंने वो वीडियो लिंक जो अभी मैं बता रहा हूँ वो आपके साथ शेयर किया हुआ है, एंड आई वॉन्ट यू गाइज टू ट्राई द सेम टुडे इटसेल्फ। ओके, तो ज़रा देखते जाना ध्यान से। ओके, सो दिस आर ओके, आई होप साउंड आ रहा है
Guys, welcome back to series where we
ओके, साउंड आ रहा है ना प्रॉपर? हेलो गाइस,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ओके,
file with respect to that command is present under this or binary code to home.
यहाँ से मेन आपको
Sorry,
कमांड्स
not
देखना है।
here. We need to go to computer. As you can see, under root directory, one directory is created for our user, which we have created right now. So this is the steps. Simple. So as you can see, 5 6 again 1 2 3 4 5 6 and creates some new files. Then those files is now next we are going to create a new user, as you can see by clicking on a. So we have to go to system, under that administration and user and groups. As you can see, one user which we have created while installing our operating system, so that user is already present. Now next we are going to create a new user. As you can see, by clicking on a add user we can create a new user. The same way by clicking on add group we can create a group, and under that group we can add multiple users. So here just provide a username. So I'm creating it for YouTube, so I'll give it YouTube. Then you can write some full name for the same. Then we need to write password for this, so I'll just write it down, some password 1 2 3 4 and confirm password again the same, and then just click on OK. And now remember, whenever we are creating a user, now if this user logs in into his account and whenever he creates some new files, then those files is by default stored at this particular location. Under root directory we have home directory, and under home directory this particular Linux operating system is going to create one directory with the name of our user only. So our username is YouTube. The same name, one directory with the same name is created under home directory by default. We can change this particular location as well. By default it is created under root directory only, remember. So just click on OK. It's showing password is too short. We have to minimum give our password is 6 characters. So I'll give 1 2 3 4 5 6, again 1 2 3 4 5 6, and click on OK. So it's just showing me, as you can see, if I press OK now, so I already told you about home directory, where user's home directory is created. Now click on OK. So it's just showing that your password is very simplistic and it's very simple. So as you can see, our user is created. So our username is YouTube, and this is our user ID, that is 501, and its location. Let's just see whether that user is created or not. We'll go to home. Sorry, not here. We need to go to computer. As you can see, under root directory, if we click on computer, root directory structure starts. Under that, we have one directory that is named as home directory, and under home directory, one directory is created for our user, which we have created right now. So this is the steps how to create a user with the help of GUI, simple GUI, without writing any command. Now it is very important for us to also know how to create a user using a command. So we'll
We are fascinating. We launch rockets to Mars.
now see how to create a user using command. So first we need to go to terminal. So as you can see, now under this terminal, if we want to add a user, we just need to write a simple command, that is user add. Remember, this is the most simple command, and then just give the name for that particular user. So as you can see, while we used GUI, we need to follow 4 to 5 steps to create a user, and here just by writing one command we can simply create a user. So as you can see, our user with the name testing is created. Let's see, the directory for this user must be created under home directory. So let's just see it. Go to root directory. Under root directory we have to go to home directory, and here as you can see, our one directory for testing, a username with testing. For that user, one root directory, one home directory is already created. Now remember, this directory is called as database. This is the database of our user. So whatever activity performed by our user after logging into his or her account, everything, whatever file or software user installs on his account or in that particular user's account, whatever activities performed, all things is maintained under this particular directory only. I hope this particular point is clear. Now let's discuss about other things. So as you can see, in user in Linux, we have one type of a user is regular user. I hope this particular point is clear. Now next user is called as root user. Remember, root user is the super user. Like in Linux we have administrator or admin user. The same way in Linux we have root user. In Windows we have admin. In Linux we have root user. So this root user can access restricted files as well. He can install software, as well as he has all the administrative level permissions. I hope this particular point is clear. So let's just see what we mean by root user. So if we talk about Linux, so as you can see here, if you are logged in with a root user, here it's showing root, and then in terminal, as you can see here, in terminal, if there is a hash sign, as you can see, it's a hash sign on terminal. That means by default we are logged in with root user, and if this hash sign is missing, that means we are normal user. So let's see this, how to do that. So as you can see, we have added one user with the name testing. So I'll just try to log in into this particular user, that is testing. So SU stands for, SU is the command to switch user. So instead of root user, if I want to log in into some another user, then we use SU command. So suppose now I want to log in into testing user. So I'll just write SU switch user space that user's name, that is testing. So as you can see, before I was in a root user and now I'm in a testing user. So this was before I logged in into testing. And here as you can see, if we are a normal user, then on terminal you will find a dollar icon, and if we are a root user, then you will find this particular hash icon. Now if again we want to switch or go back to root user, then we need to write a command that is named as SU. Remember, SU, just type SU, nothing else. So SU stands for switch user. If we don't write any user name after SU, then by default system understands that user wants to log in into root account only. So remember here it asks us for password. So we will just add a password. Now remember, I have added a password. In Linux, whenever we type a password, pointer does not move from its location, remember, so that one cannot easily guess your password's length as well. And that is the only reason. For security reason, whenever we are typing a password in Linux, pointer does not move. So I hope this particular point is clear. So this is how root user looks like. And if we are in a root user, we can perform any task. Then next is service user. Remember, third type of a user in Linux is service user. Now we can perform, or this particular user is basically there through which we can provide different services. For example, Squid, this is a proxy server. What do we mean by proxy server? If I want to block or unblock some websites, restrict some websites it should not be accessed by our users. That time we can configure proxy server. And if I want to hide my IP address as well, that time also we basically configure proxy server only. So for now, just remember, service user basically provides different services like proxy server. Then we have Apache server, which basically helps to send client request to server and vice versa. Whenever servers generate some result, that time it gives that result back to user. So these are very basic things which we are going to discuss this particular thing in our future practical. Remember, we have one practical in Linux where we are going to configure proxy server, as well as we are also going to configure this Apache server. So remember, if we use service user, it basically helps us to enhance our security or security of our computer. I hope this particular point is clear. Now remember, it is a note for each and every one of you. In normal desktop based operating system like we are using Red Hat 6, it's just a simple desktop or a single user operating system like we use on our computer. Those type of operating system does not have option for service user. If we are working on server based version of operating system, then those server based version only got options of some users that is named as service user. Remember, in normal operating system, in desktop based versions of operating system, we have only two types of user. One is regular user, second is root user. But if we are working with server based operating system, like in Windows, we have Windows Server 2010, 2012, 2015, then in that particular type of server version operating system, you will find three types of user: regular, root user, and third is service user. So in Linux based server versions as well, we'll find three types of user. Now when we talk about file name conventions, so in Windows, as you can see, in one folder we can create one file only. So suppose I have created one Word document, and that document's name is file. Same way, if I create another Word document with a same file name, that is file only, then or suppose if I've created one Word document and this Word document name is ABC in small letters, and if again I try to create another Word document where I'll give this particular file capital ABC as a name, then Windows won't allow us to create same type of a name under one folder. But in Linux we can create it. How? Let's see. I'll show you with the help of example, and that is what we mean by capitalization. Let's see with the help of example, you will get a brief idea. So as you can see, to create a directory, first to create a file, we'll create a directory. Now to create a directory, we are going to use one command, that is mkdir. Mkdir stands for make directory or create folder in Windows, what we say. So here I'll create a directory with the name YouTube Prex. Now as you can see, that particular directory is created. How we come to know? If your pointer directly comes on next line without any error, that means your directory is created. It is as simple as that. Now we'll go to this particular directory. So how to go to this particular directory? With the help of cd. Cd is a command. Cd stands for change directory. So I'll just go to this particular directory. So cd space YouTube Prex. As you can see, now I'm in YouTube Prex directory. Now what we are going to do, we'll create files. Now we have different commands to create a file. One command which we are going to use is cat command. So cat stands for concatenation. Remember, cat is a command. If I write cat and then greater than sign, and then we just need to write any particular file name. Now what is the advantage of using a cat command? Using this particular command, we can create one file, and within that file we can create data from terminal itself. What we mean by terminal, like we have command prompt in Windows, the same way we have terminal in Linux. So from terminal we can directly add files within this particular we can add data within this particular file. So as you can see, this is our first file in Linux. So I have added data from terminal only, remember. And then if I want to save this particular file, then we need to press one command. Remember, Control plus D. Control plus D. D for Delhi. Okay, we need to press these two things. Then only data, which data we have written, that data will be stored within t1.txt file. Remember, I'll press Control plus D. As you can see, as soon as I press Control plus D, my pointer again comes on terminal. Now, if I want to see whether that particular L1 t1.txt file is created or not, then we need to use a command that is ls. ls stands for list. So, as you can see, our file is created under this. Now, let's see another one. Now, we'll create one more file here. Cat greater than sign. Write a command. Now see here, I'm creating one file where I have given a name t1, that is small t, and again I'm creating one more file where I'll give it a name like capital T. So t1.txt. Here, as you can see, I've not got any particular type of error. So in Linux, if we are creating multiple files with same name, but here we have name where we used small t, and here we have name where we use capital T. So that is allowed in Linux. Remember, it is not allowed in Windows. So this is our second file with T1, that is capital T. Now to save file, what we are going to do, we need to press Control plus D. Remember, Control plus D means save and exit. So this particular command is going to add our data in which file? Capital T1.txt. So I'll just press Control plus D. As you can see, I'm again on terminal. I'll just check whether that file is created or not. What is the command to check it? ls command. So ls, as you can see, we have created two files here. So we have two files with the similar name. The only difference is capital T and small t. So this particular thing is allowed in Linux, and that is what we mean by capitalization. Remember, this thing is not allowed in Windows. So this is again one of the main difference. Then in Linux, we have two basically space or two types. One is kernel space, second is user space. As you can see, user is a very normal thing, and kernel is loaded with so many materials or so many things. As you can see, kernel space is strictly reserved for running the kernel. Kernel means heart of operating system, or it is one of the most important aspect in our Linux operating system, which is responsible to perform most of the things in our computer or in our operating system. Kernel extension and most device drivers. In contrast, user space is memory area where all user mode application works, and this memory can be swapped out when necessary. And similarly, user land refers to all application software. So whenever we are running any particular applications, those particular applications are basically runs at user space. Kernel, whenever we perform any particular operation in our operating system, without kernel permission, those operating systems are not at all possible. Kernel is heart of operating system. If kernel is not there, our operating system will be failed one. We cannot perform any single operation without the permission of kernel. if kernel permits any operation, suppose we have created directory here. So if kernel does not allows us to create a directory, then we cannot create a directory. Remember, it is one of the most important part. It is, in simple word, we call it hard of operating system. And here we have user space, some each and every basic operation, whatever we can perform on our operating system, all things are available under user space. You can just read it out. These are very simple things. Now let's continue our discussion. So as you can see, I hope this particular point is clear. Now I'll show you some of the more different commands as well. Now, if we want to clear out all these things, then we use clear. Clear means to clear a screen. So just write clear and press enter. As you can see, all commands are gone upside. Remember, they are not deleted. They just gone up. You can just scroll down up from here. You can just scroll up from here and you can just see those commands as well. So clear, just to clear the screen. Let's see the other commands. So we'll just see other commands. One is PWD. Remember, PWD stands for present working directory. So it just give you your current location. So YouTube_pregs, this particular directory, it gives us the location for this particular directory. As you can see, YouTube_pregs is directory under which root under / we have root directory, and under root directory we have another directory that is named as YouTube_pregs. So it gives us our current location under which directory we are working right now. Present working directory, PWD. It gives us our current location. I hope this particular point is clear. Now let's discuss about other commands. I hope this is clear. Now let's discuss about other commands. So other commands which we are going to use is man command. So suppose if we are not clear about mkdir command, what we mean by mkdir, then if you want some extra information about mkdir, then we can use this particular part or this particular command, that is man command. So as you can see, man mkdir, with the help of this command, it gives us, remember, operating system gives us one manual where each and every detail about this particular directory or this particular command, each and every information about this particular mkdir command is present here. So here you'll find description as well for this. As you can see, what is mkdir command? Create the directory. If they do not already exist, it creates a new directory. And mandatory arguments we can also add. There are different modes as well, or different options as well of creating a directory. We'll look at all these options in our future lecture. For now, just remember. And now if we want to close this help document or this manual, then we just need to press Q. Remember, just press Q to quit manual. So I'll just press Q. So as soon as we press Q, as you can see, again we are on our terminal or on a command prompt. Let's see another man command. I'll just type man and I'll use ls command. I hope remember ls stands for list. It basically lists all the files and subdirectories present within any one directory. So ls command, as you can see, ls command is used to list directory content, list information about files, the current directories. By default, current directories, under that current directory, which files and folders or directories, subdirectories are present under that. It basically gives information about that. I hope this particular point is clear. So I'll just quit this particular manual. How? By pressing a Q. So just press Q. So again we are on a terminal. I hope man command is clear. Man stands for manual command. So whatever commands information you want in Linux, you can just type man command and you can check information about that particular command. I hope this particular point is clear. We'll use cd command. Now if I want to come out of any particular directory, then we use cd command. Cd space dot. Remember, cd space dot. Just type 2 dot after cd and you will be out of one directory. As you can see, before I was in a YouTube directory and now I'm again back to our previous directory. I hope this particular command is clear. cd stands for change directory. Now vi editor, this is one of the most important part. We are going to discuss this particular part in our next lecture. I hope whatever we discussed till now is clear to you. If you have any doubt or query, please feel free to write in a comment section.
ओके सो बेसिक कुछ कमांड्स देखे हम लोगों ने। ये जो भी कुछ हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किया है मतलब आज हम लोगों ने देखा है वो सेम मैंने आपके साथ शेयर किया है। आप अलग से वो देख सकते हो। आज मैं आपको कोई नए टॉपिक नहीं बता रहा हूँ, यही बेसिक चीज़ चलेगा। और नेक्स्ट जो लेक्चर हम लोगों का होगा ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का, उस दिन हम लोग थियरी से स्टार्ट करेंगे। नोट्स मैं शेयर कर दूंगा, ठीक है। सो आज अभी और कुछ नया नहीं होगा। इफ़ यू हैव एनी डाउट्स लेट मी नो।